Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, my name's Brittnee. I make videos about baking, cake decorating, and chocolate making. In today's video, I am going to show you all of my favorite baking equipment, tools, and supplies. To keep things organized, I'm going to start off with the most basic baking equipment and tools, and then I'll get into some of the baking tools and equipment and supplies that are more specialized, like some of the things I use for cake decorating or making chocolates. And if you see any items in the video that you'd like to purchase, all of the links will be down in the description box. Okay, so first up is a mixer. You've probably all seen this one before. It's the KitchenAid Classic. It's 4.5 quarts, and it comes with 3 attachments. The paddle attachment, which is good for mixing almost everything, cookies, brownie batter, cake batter. The whisk attachment, which is great for whipped cream and mousses, and the dough hook for breads. I've purchased bigger KitchenAids before, but then returned them because I just don't need them. This is a great size standard mixer for anyone. And this mixer was actually my mom's, and I think it's from like 1990, and it's still going strong. It has been such a good little mixer, and I'll keep it as long as it works. Another great thing to have are some mixing bowls. These are the ones that I have. They are Rachel Ray, and something cool about her, she must love the color teal, which is also my favorite color. And this mixing set comes with 2, and they're great. They're like really sturdy, heavy, high quality bowls. And they have handles, which is nice, and like a little spout. And they're nice and big. So they're great for mixing things with a whisk by hand, and highly recommend. Another type of bowl that's great to have if you temper chocolate in the microwave or melt things in the microwave or use the microwave at all with a bowl would be a plastic bowl. I actually can't find this one anywhere. It's Tupperware. I'm sure it has been passed down in the family, but down below I'll link a polypropylene bowl, which is high temperature safe. So that's a good alternative if you're into tempering chocolate. Of course, you're going to need a pot and pan set. This is another Rachel Ray item. Now, this isn't the most fancy pan set, but you don't always need the best equipment to do a good job. So I recommend this. It's a very affordable set, and once again, my favorite color. Now back to bowl sets. Having glass bowls that are all different sizes that are stackable is very handy if you like to play cooking show like me and measure out all your ingredients in advance like Martha Stewart. An absolute must-have is a sheet tray. Well, actually, I would say like 5 to 10 sheet trays. I mean, I use them literally every time I bake for something or another, moving things to the fridge or freezer, obviously baking cakes in, brownies, basically everything, you gotta have sheet trays. And what makes them even better is if you have a lid, because then when you're transporting things away from your house, you have something to cover your goodies and keep them protected, and I just highly recommend. Now, before I went to culinary school, I just did not realize how necessary parchment paper is. And if you can buy the kind pre-cut into sheets the size of your sheet tray, it's even better. This has so many uses. I pipe chocolate on it. I use it to line cake pans, sheet tray cake pans, or even round cake pans. You just trace with a pencil and cut them out. I literally use parchment paper for everything. You can make piping bags out of it. It's just, it protects your counter from like food coloring. If you've ever stained your white countertops with food coloring, you'll know what I mean. So now I always put this underneath. Anyway, parchment paper, like top 5 things that you need in your kitchen. And along those same lines, silicone baking mats are a great thing to have in your kitchen. You can line your sheet trays with them and bake cookies on them. If you work with hot things like isomalt or sugar, these are also great because they're heat resistant, and things like sugar and isomalt peel right off of them. So great thing to have. Of course, if you're into baking cakes and cake decorating, you're going to need just a classic cake pan. This one is an 8-inch round. The brand is Fat Daddy-O. They work great. It's 3 inches tall. I would recommend investing in a couple of these 8-inch rounds. It's pretty common, and they're great for beginners to start practicing cake decorating and get the feel of things. And then next I would probably get a 6-inch, 10-inch, and 12. And then another pan that's great to have around is the old cheesecake pan. It's a springform pan, which makes it extremely easy to get your cheesecakes out. You just pop this open, the bottom comes out. And this is a 12-inch Wilton. And for cake decorating, another must-have is a cake turntable or rotating cake stand. There are a lot to choose from, but I prefer the heavy metal ones. Mine is a Fat Daddy-O. I can't find it anymore online, but I will recommend another one that looks good. This just makes frosting and decorating cakes so much easier. Another great thing for cake decorating, well, actually cake presentation when your cake's all finished, like it's so much nicer to put it on a cake stand. I highly recommend this one. It's just a 12-inch white cake stand, and you should be able to use it for almost anything you decorate. So it's a great one to start with. Now, as far as knives go, I only recommend 3. You can do almost everything you need to do with just 3 knives. The first one is a standard chef knife. Mine is a Mercer. Of course, I'll link it below. Got this at culinary school, and I haven't bought a new knife since. I do need to get it sharpened, but you can do that. And then just paring knife. And this is the same brand. I also got this one at school. And then the other knife that I use all the time is a bread knife, and I use this for trimming and leveling cakes. And I like this one because it's thin and long, and sometimes you can get bread knives that are too thick to like actually, you have a hard time getting them through the cake layers. So I like this one because it's super thin and easy for me to cut my cakes with. And this tool is a fun one. It's a microplane, like lemon or orange citrus zester tool, and it's just great to have on hand for those times you need zest. And another really good use we found in my family for this is when you're making gingerbread houses, either out of gingerbread or out of graham crackers. Sometimes you need that edge to be nice and smooth. This tool is so great for like filing down edges just to make everything perfect when you're making a gingerbread house. Now, a kitchen scale is also a pretty standard thing to have. It's obviously used for measuring ingredients, and sometimes you'll look up a new recipe and it's in weight, and if you don't have a scale, you can't make the recipe. So this is just a must-have in the kitchen, and weighing ingredients rather than measuring in measuring cups is also more accurate for baking. Now, while we're on the topic of measuring, I would highly recommend these measuring cups and spoon set. No, I'm actually laughing because this set is actually my own brand. It's called Kitchen Yen, and I used to sell these measuring sets on Amazon, but I decided I'd rather be baking than selling baking items. So I shut down my Amazon store, but I am still selling all the extras on a Poshmark account. But in all seriousness, I really do love this set and I use them all the time. My 2 favorite things about them are that there's 7 cups and there's 6 spoons. So there's a 3/4 cup and a 2/3 cup, which are so useful when you're baking so that you don't have to keep like rewashing cups and stuff. And then the measuring spoons, also there's plenty of sizes, but the thing I love the most is they're like rectangle shape. So they're long and narrow, which means you can stick them straight into like spice containers. And just for fun, I'm going to play my promo video for this set so you can get a closer look at them. Another pretty standard measuring tool are some Pyrex or this brand's Anchor glass measuring cups. They're great for liquids and also measuring larger amounts like 2 cups. They also come in a 4 cup, so get some of these. Now these are a fun one I found just this year for all my chocolate work and like melting candy melts all the time. Silicone measuring cups, because when you heat things in glass retains heat, and when you're working with chocolate, temperature is very important, and if things get too hot, you can burn and ruin your chocolate. So if you're into making things or decorating things with chocolate, highly recommend these silicone measuring cups. And they are flexible and they're so fun to use. You can melt isomalt and pour from them. Just like one of my favorite things in my kitchen. This is also another pretty standard item, a sieve or sifter set. Great for making really smooth sauces, sifting your powdered sugar or flour when you're baking. Just basically, you gotta have a set of these. And the 3 size ones are great because it gives you options. Okay, this is one of my favorite things. I don't use it like that often, but I use it enough to just be really excited about it, because chopping nuts is like just the most frustrating thing. Getting them all into like uniform small enough pieces is a hassle. And so this is like a little nut chopper. This is like, my mom has used this ever since I was little, so this is like how you chop nuts in my mind. And it works also great for pretzels. I know that sounds weird, but there's this specific cookie recipe that I love that has pretzels in it, and rather than chopping them, I just put them through here. Now I will say, don't try putting chocolate through here. I did that once and I bent the blades inside, but this is like one of my favorite things as well. Okay, now, even if you're baking or making things at home and you're not worried about sanitation, I still highly recommend having some food safe gloves. There's so many other uses for them. They're just great. They protect your hands from food colors, and like they protect your chocolate from fingerprints. And you can also use them as like a tool. Like when I do hot cocoa bombs, instead of using like a little paintbrush or tipping the mold upside down, I just coat the mold with a glove, and then you just take it off and throw it away. Easy cleanup. And then my last basic baking tool is the immersion or stick or hand blender. This is great for if you're into cooking, it's great for soups, but also for baking like sauces and glazes, like for cakes. You just blend it and it makes it extra smooth, and then you put it through the sieve and you've got like a really beautiful, smooth, glossy sauce. All right, now some of my other recommendations are hidden away in my pantry and my baking drawer, so I'm kind of going to give you a little tour as I go through some of my favorite things. Actually, I'm going to start in this drawer. So, obviously rolling pins. This is a like palette knife from Home Depot, but I use it for wiping chocolate molds clean. Then, of course, we've got a plastic bowl scraper, which you gotta have at least one, and a steel benchtop scraper, great for cleaning up chocolate that sets up on your counter. And also, you can cut things like brownies into nice, perfect squares really well with that. And also for bread making and stuff, portioning things. This is a high heat spatula, very important to have. When you're cooking hot sauces and things in a pot, you don't want a spatula that can't withstand the heat. So get a high heat spatula. Oh my gosh, I love these mini spatulas. They are so, well, for one, they're cute, and for two, they're just so useful for getting the last bits of sticky things out of measuring cups. Everyone needs a good whisk. Highly recommend this one. It has like a nice, comfortable handle, and I like it. And another really standard item is offset spatulas and metal spatulas for cake decorating. If you're gonna get one, get the small one. I use it for baking, cake decorating, frosting, literally everything. Chocolate work, moving things around, picking them up, moving them. Just like this little one is amazing. I love the straight one when I melt candy melts or chocolate in those silicone measuring cups because they're straight and I just like, they're great to stir with. So like having 10 of these on hand is really helpful. And then the big ones are great for frosting cakes and leveling cakes, making things nice and smooth. And also you'll want a large offset one for frosting like the tops of cakes. They work really well. Oh, also one of my favorite things are these bamboo drawer separators. I'll also link those. They're just so great. When you don't have some organization in your drawer, you can add them. Okay, so this is my like meticulous decorating tool drawer, kind of. Back to measuring cups. A little measuring cup that is like a 1/4 cup in size, but has different tablespoons. Comes in handy, more than you'd think. Then I have some fondant smoothers, very important. And then starting over here, I keep a couple things handy, like a ruler and a Sharpie. Those are just good to have. Pastry brush, necessity for like adding butter or egg wash to things. It also can be a great tool for plating. You can brush sauces or chocolate on the plate. Then you'll also want to have a set of paintbrushes that you only use for, you know, food. And these ones have been great to me. I don't know if it'll focus or you can see. I'm doing this with one hand and this camera is big and heavy. I don't have a vlogging camera. Anyway, I use this mostly for like applying gold and silver powder and paint to things. And then, of course, you're going to want some piping couplers, and I have lots of piping tips. It's great to have a selection, but my favorites are basically every size of the round, starting from big all the way to small. The little ones I use for piping and decorating with royal icing, and the big ones are good for making certain types of pastries like eclairs. And then for cupcakes, the big star tip's nice, and then like the smaller sizes as well. And then in this section, I have a gum paste rolling pin. I don't use gum paste all that often, but I do use modeling chocolate a lot, so this little one is really great. It also comes with some little like bands to help you roll things out evenly, so that's kind of helpful. And then having a good like gum paste modeling set is really great. Each of these tips have like different ends on them, which can be very helpful if you are into sculpting things. And then in this little section, I have some disposable piping bags. They're great. I've found with the reusable ones, no matter how good you wash them, they start to smell a little rancid. I don't think they're very sanitary, so I've just switched all the way to these most of the time. And just a pair of scissors, but these are a must-have. They're just round cookie cutters in all different sizes. I use them for everything. Chocolate work, making chocolate decorations, pastries, plating, and just everything. So that's my baking drawer. And now we'll go over to the pantry. I hope this isn't the worst video ever. like I never pick up the camera and do this, but all right. So this is kind of my chocolate section. I have like templates and things, but acetate sheets, great for making chocolate decorations. Definitely a must-have in your pantry. And then a kitchen torch, great for creme brulee and sugar work and things like that. And then some other things I always have on hand. Basically every color of candy melts for decorating things. It just makes decorating easier than like coloring your own white chocolate. Although you can do that too. And then I always have on hand a bag of dark chocolate, couverture chocolate, and also some stabilized compound dark chocolate in case I'm not in the mood to temper. And just some random things like sprinkles and stuff. But the most important thing to have are lots of colors of gel food color. I choose gel because I can use it for lots of different things. Like you can color fondant with gel, you can color modeling chocolate with gel, you can color frosting. So it's just like they're all around good colors, and a good kind to have is gel rather than water-based. And then always gold and silver edible powder. And then paint palettes. These are great for making your own paint with the powders, and they're just so useful to have for mixing things on. I also always keep this brand, Pastry Ideal. It's not edible, but it's also not toxic, but you can use it for cake decorations and things that people don't plan on eating. And the colors are just better than all the rest. They have silver, gold, and bronze, and they're my favorite. I also always have on hand silver, edible, silver and gold leaf. They're my, like, probably one of my favorite things in my kitchen. So then moving down to the next shelf, I mean cookie cutters and random things, but something I always have on hand is isomalt. Great for plating and making decorations and things like that. And then I also have this kitchen or laser thermometer, which is great for tempering chocolate and measuring temperature of sugar and things. So highly recommend having a thermometer. And then I always have on hand some lemon extract because that's how I mix my gold and silver paint. Just mix this with the powder and it makes it into a nice paint. And then this is also where I keep like more specialized ingredients like piping gel, always have meringue powder and some glucose. And anything else? Gelatin back there, good to have, cornstarch. All right, those are all of my favorite baking equipment, tools, and supplies. Leave a comment down below if there are any items in the video that you've never heard of and want to give a try. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, today's the day. And if you'd like to see some sweet baking videos, just click on one of these thumbnails. Thanks so much for watching today, and I'll see you soon. Bye.